Hey guys, we are live hanging out. This is going to be fun. One of the things I want you guys to do who are watching this is I'm going to put a link in the description of this video here in just a little bit for those of you guys who just join this hangout and we're going to talk. But right now, first of all, I'm just going to talk first. And then after I talk for a little bit, I want to talk through some of the questions, the comments you guys left on today's video. Like, I thought about doing this like earlier, actually. Someone else gave me this idea. They said, hey, Tim, what if you just did like a blab or a periscope or something where after each day's video, you just hopped in and did a live session just answering to all the questions and stuff. And so I was like, well, that's a good idea, but I haven't actually done that obviously until right now. So my audio working? It looks like it's not working. Okay, well, maybe it is. I don't know. Guys, comment if you can see that this is working. Okay, so yeah, so what I want to do is talk through some of the questions, the most common questions you guys asked, and give you some of my responses as far as how do we push through that dip that I outlined. And someone's texting me, sorry, my brothers. And then how do we push through that dip, and some thoughts about the dip overall for those of you guys who feel like, if you watched today's video, you saw like I outlined what I thought like the average creator path is that they're taking, which is like, you know, straight upward over time, momentum, subscribers, encouragement, growth, everything. But then it actually just dips, you know. So usually the creator grows and grows and grows, and then, or not grows, but they get started, they're super motivated, but then they drop off, like, and they actually figure out how hard it actually is to grow an audience. So more about that videos, and that video is linked up below. If you haven't watched that, you can go put this on pause, go watch that, and then come back. First of all, before I bring you guys in here to actually hang out with me and we're gonna have a discussion about this, first of all, let me address the questions and talk about something else. So for number one, here's one of the mistakes I made also I didn't really get into in the video because I didn't want to be too long. But the reason why I assumed, and this is to hopefully help you guys with your channel, the reason why I assumed that the path was like straight upward, like over time, is honestly because that's the path I took. And so I assume most creators were like me. But here's the thing, I'm obviously wrong, but I got it so wrong because I started making videos back in 2006 when, like, it was very different back then, right? There was no, I remember before the subscription button was even a thing. I remember when YouTube, like, you had to bookmark channels in your browser's bookmarks. That's how you follow channels. You would just go check to see if they posted a new video yet. And so having a schedule is really important at that time too. But then they introduced, you know, so I was doing it back then, and that was before, like, people were comparing stats, people were comparing numbers, people were comparing like subscriber counts and all that. And so I feel like it felt like an upward thing to me because there was no dip that existed yet, because there was no one to like compare yourself to, as far as like, man, I'm so bummed because I thought I was going to be the next Hank Green, or I thought I was going to be the next PewDiePie, but you know, there was just your channel, and that was it. Now you had collaborations, you were creating like relationships and meeting other creators and stuff. But the point of this, I think for us, and hopefully this is encouraging you guys, encouragement for you, is that I think like, in order for there not to be a dip at all in the first place, I feel like you guys have to do this for something bigger than just statistics and money. Really, you know, like, I think if you're looking at views and stats and like your goal is to be popular or something like that, like, you will hit a dip every time because you'll realize you have this big goal, but that goal is not a straight upward thing. And so the reason why I feel like I skipped the dip, not because I'm like, oh, I'm so much better or anything, but because at that time, that wasn't a goal people had on YouTube. It's purely self-expression. There was no partner program at the time. There was no money. There was no advertising, you know, revenue sharing, anything. There wasn't even subscriptions on channels yet. So it was just different. And I feel like that's why I skipped that dip part. And I feel like if you guys can skip that dip part too, if you actually have a vision for your channel and why you're doing this, that's way bigger than money. It's way bigger than views, subscribers, and all that. Because I think if you start with that in mind, it will, and I would say almost every time, I mean, it's not true for everybody, but often it will lead to that dip. Okay, so that's point number one. Point number two, and I'm going to bring you guys in here to talk about this for a little bit. Point number two is a lot of the comments were like, yes, Tim, I'm in the dip. Please make content, make videos for me that encourage me to keep going. How do I keep pushing past the dip? And my question is, how do I encourage you guys to keep going? Okay, now I'm looking at the comments right here. So I really do want you guys to like answer this question, because I'm watching you guys as you type here. So, well, not as you type, but you know what I mean. I'm not that creepy. But like, I don't know, is like that my job? Like, how do I do that? Like, encourage people and motivate them to keep pushing through that dip. Like, my job, I don't feel like, is to be a YouTube evangelist, you know, where I'm just like, I don't know, like my job is to like make sure you guys keep creating content or something like that. Like, I don't feel like that's it. So I feel like maybe my job is to serve those of you who do want to keep going, but I don't know. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. I feel like it's my job to serve those of you who have a vision for something greater and want to get there. You know, I responded to one comment on today's video about the about like, hey Tim, I watched you, I followed all your advice, but my channel wasn't growing, so I kind of gave up. I tried to reach out to you, but I didn't get any response to my comments, and you know, so I just kind of gave up on YouTube because, and I'm sorry that that's like a frustration that people have, but like, I can't make videos for you, right? I can't grow your audience for you, and my advice does work like 100% of the time for the people who really keep pushing for it and who implement it well. But a lot of people say, hey, Tim, I followed your advice, in the sense of like, I made a thumbnail for my video, but the thumbnail is like really poor. The titles are still poorly crafted, or they haven't taken some of the foundational advice, like figuring out target audience and value propositions and promotion strategies, content strategy. Like there's a lot that goes into it. So kind of just like half-heartedly, not half-heartedly, your heart's probably fully in it, but you just give it like a quick effort, and then like, oh, like, Tim, now it's your job to make sure I keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope that's not insulting or anyone. I just don't know if that's even possible for me to do, you know? So I feel like the dip is actually really helpful for a lot of reasons as a creator. And I think there's some reasons why each creator should go through that, actually. So here's what I'm going to do. I just published, refresh this video if you need to. I just uploaded or updated the description of this video. It now contains the link to join this Hangout directly. So actually, I probably should have thought this through before I did this, but it's okay. We're going to do this live anyway. I have no idea who's going to join, but that's okay. So first come, first serve. First of you guys to get in here, and then I want to talk through some of the reasons why I think the dip is actually good for us. So click that link. If you're now, I want you to have like a webcam and a microphone that works, okay, and headphones. That's a requirement. So headphones, microphone, and a webcam that works. Oh, I'm coming muted. Hey, Rob. Hey, Rob. How are you, man?
No, I'll come back downstairs.
All right, let me meet people as they're coming in here. Just
Don't
until
forget
people
to
kind of get their
YouTube video.
And put my video on pause. Hey, guys.
Hello there.
Hey, Rob. How are you? Hey, Cedric. Brian.
Hi.
Ghost. Hey, Brian, Ghost, Raja. If you guys don't have webcams, I'll ask you to bow out or kick you out.
I have a webcam, but
hello, everyone.
Oh, everyone's trying to get going. Okay.
Not very decent at the moment.
Well, that's not. I don't see a webcam yet, so.
I can turn it on. That's fine. Hello. I have a webcam.
Hey, there you are. Oh, everyone's trying to get going. Jack, Raja, if you guys get your webcam, everyone's like scrambling right now to like set up. So, here comes Nature Calls. Good to see you guys. So, hi guys. So we're gonna talk here in a second. Nature Calls, Juniper. Sweet. So everyone put headphones on and put my video on pause if you're still watching in the background, and let's all mute yourself too, so that we don't get like feedback and stuff. And then when you're gonna talk, unmute yourself. So I'll let you guys be responsible adults and
all right.
So mute yourself for now. And what I want to do is talk through some of the reasons why I think the dip is actually really important, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. Okay. So Raja, do you got a webcam? No, not yet. I see your big eyeball with your fingers around it. All right. Cool. So, and you guys in the comments who are watching this too, for real, like comment. I'm watching you guys comment here, and I'm sure those of you guys who are in this with me can help me keep an eye on the comments and bring up good questions people are asking and stuff too. So, why the dip I think is really helpful, and I think I really don't want to offend anybody. I'm just trying to be truthful here, and I think the people who take offense to this are probably the people who should take offense to it, I guess, is how this works. I don't know, but I'll just say it. So one, I think the dip is really important because I feel like it separates out the people who are driven by like a vision for something on their channel, and it separates out the people who are just here trying to make a quick buck. They heard that there's money on YouTube, so they just come like, oh, that should be easy cash, and they come trying to make money, or they're coming just to be popular, like the things that are really like that would lead someone to get into a dip pretty easily, like those types of things. And I feel like that dip is actually good because it filters out a lot of those people. Not that those people are bad or there's anything wrong with earning money or being popular or anything like that. I just feel like when that's your like main motivation, your main goal, like that dip filters those people out pretty quickly, for good or for bad. I think it's for good, but we can disagree and we'll talk about that. I think it's also really good because I think that's where we learn the most as creators. Like I feel like if there's like if you just think about our own lives in general, like outside of YouTube, like the moments, the seasons of life where we grow the most personally are through the difficult times, right? They're through the hard times. When everything's going great and perfect, like we don't grow as individuals that much. So I think the same is true on YouTube. Like when you hit those hard walls and you're running against those roadblocks and you're forced, or not forced, but you keep pushing through them. I think that's where you as a creator grow the most. Like lifting weights, right? Like you need the resistance in order to get stronger. And I think that's a really important part of the dip. And then, did I say I have 3 reasons? I might have lied. I only see 2 in my notes. I thought I had 3. Well, there's 2 now, so there we go. That's what happens when you do this live. So I had to figure out who like I want to serve and why and all that kind of stuff. But those of you guys who are in here, and I don't know all you, but that's awesome. That's why we do this, so we get to know each other a little bit. I'd love to hear any thoughts, response you have on is the dip good or not, and why is it good or why is it not, and any thoughts you have on pushing through that for creators. So I'll let you just raise your hand like this, and then I'll call on you. Go ahead, Brian.
I think the dip is really good because, like you said before, it does kind of like weed out the channels that don't necessarily have like, I guess, the willpower to be able to continue pushing through YouTube. But like the people who can work through that are ultimately the people who are going to grow and be at least semi-successful. I only have 500 subscribers at the moment, but I feel like I've gained quite a bit of success just through doing what I like to do.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So,
somebody else? What do you guys think? Go ahead, Nature.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think, I've been watching a lot of your videos, Tim, and I think if you don't have all the basics in place, that you will hit a dip. And if you don't have your brand lined up, and if you don't have the goal of your channel lined up, if you're just kind of winging it and you're like a vlog and things are just kind of going crazy, I think a dip is going to happen. But if you have a brand, if you have a direction that your channel is really going, then you can make those quick alterations to keep your channel a lot more spicier.
Yeah. Cool. Good. Somebody else, what do you guys think about all this? Any hands? Jack? Go ahead, Jack. And then we'll get
I think that the dip tests you. It's like you're in the middle of a test or in the middle of a competition. You always hit this brick wall when you're running a marathon. And you have to start to think of ways to get past that wall. If that means rebranding, if that means figuring out what you were doing right and what you changed to make it wrong, I mean, that doesn't mean you've hit that dip because you did wrong, but you know what was working before, and just emphasizing that more and more until that dip is no longer a dip.
Yeah. Good. Cool. Juniper, what are you gonna say?
I was gonna say that, I mean, the dip really, it allows your creativity to flourish. I mean, I'm in the gaming community. I have a Pokemon channel, and like right now we're like in between games, sorta, and you know, everything's starting to kind of plateau, and you kind of see that in the whole community sometimes, where everyone's kind of starting to plateau or even dip, if you want to call it that, and you can really see people just diverge. Like some people are just going to completely other channels, and like their main channel is just starting to kind of collapse a little bit. And some people, like myself, I'm really trying to, you know, bring out something different creatively, and just different types of videos, and it really separates the people that are really, you know, they want to do this and they don't want to. Because one thing that I've really learned from the past 2-3 years of YouTube is, like, you know, it's just a matter of how badly you want it. If you really want something, you'll make the time to do it, and you'll find ways to make something work, you know?
Right.
So
Yeah, totally.
that's what I found out pretty much.
Good. Yeah, that's awesome. Raja or Raja? How you say it? Raha? Raja. Cool. Go ahead. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like sometimes we forget that like big channels we look up to and respect and admire, like they went through a dip, we just weren't there when they went through it. Right? And so like we forget that, oh, maybe this is normal, maybe this happens to everybody. It certainly doesn't happen to everybody, but I would say it's probably more true than it's not that people hit this dip. So yeah, that's good. Anybody else have any thoughts on if you think the dip is good or not, and how so? Go ahead, Austin.
I think for me, I think it's been hard knowing if you're in a dip or not, especially like when you're first starting out and things can be slow. How do you know if it's a dip or you're just not doing anything right at all, or like there's just this long, sustaining,
Mm-hmm.
nothing growing, or I guess it just, or it could happen way later on, but early on channels, how do you know if it's a dip or just doing it right kind of thing? And so I feel like that's where it might just not get any traction to it, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like the dip is like usually it's like an emotional energy type of thing. Like it's a motivation, it's a drive, it's a excitement level, something like that. You know, where you're kind of like super excited about it when you first start, and you're like going really consistently. You're publishing like 2 videos a week, but they're not really getting much traction as you had thought. So 2 weeks later, you know, or maybe it's a few years later, it really like it can happen whenever, but the emotional energy just like dies, and I think that's what the dip is usually, more so than stats and stuff. Because I think it's going back to what I said earlier. I think people are looking at the stats as a way of like evaluating their channel and how things are going, and then and that is certainly one thing to look at, you know, by definitely. I mean, those stats are there for reasons, but um, like if that becomes the goal, then I think it becomes pretty difficult, like in that dip, to keep going sometimes. Any other thoughts from most of you guys? You don't have to, but it's fine. Go ahead, Rob.
I was just thinking, I feel as if I've been going through a dip for a prolonged period of time. But one of the things I decided to do over the summer was to actually take a break from YouTube. And the funny thing is that even when you are on a break or having a dip, the good thing about YouTube is that you are still growing. Every day you have more subscribers, more views than you did yesterday. And sometimes videos that were on there previously that just weren't getting any traction, all of a sudden there may be some connection with it. And so it is a good opportunity for you to just come back, re-energize and refresh, like people say. And the dip, as you say, and everybody else has said, is a way to emotionally recharge as well.
Yeah. So you're saying you think it's a good thing. The dip is a good thing.
I think it can be helpful, like you say, if you have the energy and the drive to return, and there is always something going on YouTube. Even if you try, and the only way you can really step away from YouTube is to, I guess, disable your account, unsubscribe, there may be something that comes out of nowhere, which I'm sure has happened for all of us, that we've been going through a dip, and then all of a sudden one comment from one subscriber or one email, even outside of YouTube, sort of reignites things.
Yeah. You guys in the chat, do you think it's mostly a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, I think if we actually stop and think about it, I think we feel like it's okay, it's probably a good thing, but I don't like it. You know, it's like eating your vegetables or something. Although my kids love broccoli, so that didn't work for them. But normally, you know, it's one of those things. And then I want to read some of you guys what you're saying in the chat. I'm having a hard time keeping up with it, to be honest, though. I just did this spontaneously. I didn't get a moderator here or anything. The other question I want to hear from you guys, again, there's a viewer here, raise your hand if you have something, but do you think that it's possible, and if it is, how so, to really motivate and encourage someone to push through the dip? And if so, how do you do that? How do you encourage someone, and does it depend on what their goals are, what their motivations are, or like what would it take, you know, to push someone through that dip? And is that even something that I don't want to say should be done, but you know what I'm saying? Like, is that a thing that's possible for people? And how would that happen? So raise your hand if you gotta answer that. Go ahead. Who is that? Jack. Is it Jack or Jock?
Jake.
Jake. Oh, not even close. Sorry.
No, that's all right. So and this is going off what you said earlier in the post, that it's not your job, your specific job. I think as a YouTube community, it's our job to build up the new, the existing, and the up and coming YouTubers as encouragement. We should be that source of encouragement. What I do is I've subscribed to everyone that's somewhat similar to what I'm doing, no matter if they have 0 subscribers or 2 million. And what I do every day is go through my subscription box and leave encouraging posts, because in hopes of if I need that encouraging, they'll be able to provide it for me in the future. Yeah, but good. I think that's the community's job, not one person specifically.
Yeah, cool. Someone else. Go ahead, Nature.
Yeah, actually, I totally agree with what he just said. I think, you know, what if you can become part of a community, that you get a ton of support from your community, and of course you have to give it back. And so, yeah, I totally agree with what he just said about the community aspect of it. But there's things like your channel that I think is constantly motivating. I don't think you personally need to do anything more. Pretty much everything you do is motivating to YouTube creators. So,
thank you.
But yeah, I think the community is a huge part. So.
Yeah, I mean, I like to encourage people. There's clearly a drop off, you know, somewhere in the creator journey, and yeah, I don't think it's my job to push them through, but I don't know. I hear what you guys would do that, and what would encourage you to keep going through the push. What else? What do you guys got? And the rest of you here. Anybody else? Oh, go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
To echo other people's thoughts that have already contributed, YouTube is quite a isolated experience when you're spending hours producing videos and then uploading them, and you're receiving comments and likes, but it's all kind of a digital thing unless you maybe do a collaboration. So I was thinking, as other people were saying, if you're part of a community, then doing collaborations with other people would certainly be a way to maybe draw you out of a dip, because while you might be in the middle of a dip, collaborating with somebody who's at the complete opposite end, it's almost like a push-pull effect. You can sort of, well, hopefully you don't want to pull this person into a dip, but they could certainly drag you out of the dip with such an idea.
Yeah, cool. You guys who are wondering if I see you in the chat, I do see you in the chat. Like, Patrick teaches the world. Can he see the comments? Yes, I'm watching you guys. Good. Yeah. What else do you guys? What else do you think? What would it take to encourage someone to push through that dip? Is that even possible? And if so, how do you do it? Go ahead, Austin.
And with my experience, anyways, I get comments sometimes on some of the videos that I've done, and it's just like tutorial stuff for After Effects and other Adobe stuff, and it's the ones I always click through and look at people's channels who leave a comment saying they liked it or something about it. And it's the ones who I see are actually doing something similar on their channel. It's not just they posted 0 videos, they just like or subscribe to a bunch of people. It's always the ones who are also doing very similar, but they have 0 subscribers. They just do it because they like it. So with me, anyways, that's kind of, it gives me inspiration to kind of keep going. It's not somebody with thousands of subscribers that watches and comments. It's the smaller people who are similar to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else have a thought on that? Go ahead, Brian.
Not only do I think like community is a big part of helping people through dips, but I also think of just having say a group of friends on YouTube is a very valuable source for people who want to continue doing YouTube, because when you start off, usually you don't really know anybody within your niche. You're kind of alone and isolated. But once you start making those friends on YouTube, whether it be through collaboration or whatnot, you start getting those connections, and you can help each other out, whether it be through Skype or something like that, where you help each other through a dip, or you can even just help each other like make and produce videos, even if it's not necessarily a collaboration.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good way of doing it.
Yeah. Hey guys, guess what? The people in the chat just pointed out something. There's no girls in here. This is a whole full panel of guys. How'd that happen? All I did, for those of you who are here, I just opened it up, and I guess all the men were trigger happy, and we ended up with a room full of guys. You're right. It was not planned, obviously. Those of you guys who were here, just know I opened it up to anybody. But yeah, sorry, I just noticed that. Thank you for pointing that out.
I'd be more than happy to give up my spot after a couple minutes.
Well, here's the thing: like, you drop it, I have no way of controlling who's going to jump in to replace you. You know, it might be another guy. Okay, well, Rob said he's going to drop anyway. So, a girl, get in. I want a girl here.
Thanks for chatting, everyone. Have a good evening.
Rob.
Bye.
Okay, girls, only girls. There's a spot open. If you're a boy, don't click. We'll see how well people follow directions. Anybody else have anything? Oh, who do we got here? Oh, praise. Oh, it's a boy. Sorry, you're gone. Eject. Boom. That felt really mean. Probably like swearing at his computer right now, or at me probably. Sorry. Joshua.
How's it going?
Yeah. Are you a girl?
Yeah, looks like it.
No, I want to get a woman in here. I know there's women in the chat. They're all talking about it, but maybe they're not in a position. So I'll open up your spot for a girl.
All
Sorry,
right.
no offense. Come on, women. I'm trying to give you opportunities. Like Journey of the World, I'm not sexist. They're just not coming. Oh, anyway.
Join us, please. We don't bite.
At least most of us don't. Oh, now there's 2 spots open. Come on, women. All right. Any other thoughts about what were we talking about? I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, no, you're a boy, Bryce.
Motivation.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, let's see if a girl jumps in. Any other thoughts on that? Oh, that's a pink Melissa. That's gotta be a girl. Hey, Melissa. Does your mic work?
Hello.
Hi. You're our only feminine presence here. It's like being at the gym and all the guys are hanging out, and then there's you, which is awesome. Got good odds for you. Sorry, I had no idea what I was saying there. Yeah. So, any other thoughts you guys have on that? Actually, let's just skip that because I totally lost my train of thought. The next thing I wanted to talk about is what would encourage you, like what would motivate you and help you. We've kind of talked about this a little bit, but to push through that dip and keep going. Like, what would you need personally? You feel like to do that? Good, Cedric.
To have motivation from commenters. I don't know, like nobody watches my videos. Like I'm pretty new. I'm still trying to develop my channel, but I have some comments that, oh, that was cool, but just been a couple. So if I had more, I'd be more motivated.
Okay, cool. So what I hear, tell me if this is accurate or not. It sounds like your motivation to keep going is based on feedback from other people, to feel like you're validated, like the content you made actually, like someone appreciated.
Yeah, like I'm still trying to see what I want to do. Like I do magic, but
Oh, do a trick. Go for it. Here's your big shot for your channel. Tell us your channel. Do a trick.
I well, what I do is like all card manipulation. Take some cards and just changing them up. So I'm Cedric Lancy, but I have 26 subscribers, and like I want to see like how to see if people like the content. If not, tell me so I can see what I can do, because I like YouTube. I like editing videos, so I want to see what people like so I can make better things.
Yeah.
So
There's almost 100 people watching right now. So you guys who are watching, go check out his channel. What is it?
Cedric Lancy. So it's.
Can you spell it for us?
CEDRICLANCY.
Okay. So you guys go leave him some comments, give us some feedback, make him feel appreciated.
The videos are terrible.
Go ahead.
I'm still working on it.
No, this is what we're doing. Like, if you guys want to help encourage each other through the dip, you're saying it's about community. It's time to pony up. Cool. How about the rest of you guys? What would encourage you, push you through the dip? Go ahead. I still don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry, Raja. That's how I say it, but I don't know that's not. Well, how do you say it? Raja. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Melissa, you're here. You got to talk now.
Okay, so I kind of agree with everybody. Oh.
No, you're good. Got it.
Okay, I thought I had muted it. I kind of agree. It helps with the comments for me. I've been doing this for now over 5 years, and I have just over almost 1,500 subscribers. But literally, I hit 1,000 subscribers in April. So it took me basically 5 years to get to that. But what kept me going was interacting with my subscribers and getting those comments. And when I was in the plateau or dip, whatever you want to call it, they were the ones, like, if I took a break, I would, because I thought no one was watching, they would be sending me messages saying, where's the video, are you okay? And that encouraged me to keep going and, like, get through that.
Yeah, that's cool. So, anybody else? What else? Because I feel like I'm catching a trend here that would be really interesting. Go ahead, Juniper.
Yeah, kind of like what we were talking about before a little bit with the community thing. I think it's really important to have like a core group of friends, kind of like how like in real life, if you're really down, you talk to like your family, your friends, and everyone. It's important to find people that you have like interests, not just like YouTube and whatever you're making videos about. Just people that you imagine yourself hanging out with in real life, whether it's like sports or whatever interests that you have, whether it's talking about YouTube SEO or just life. You want to get your mind off of it, because sometimes you don't want to just be thinking about, like you're saying, like numbers and just take your mind off of it a little bit. Having people that you can talk to that know what it's like to be in YouTube, because I have a core group of friends on YouTube, and we all go through dips at like different times, different struggles, and we talk about it, whether different strategies and whatnot. And I think that's really important to have.
Yeah, definitely. Anybody else? What would help you push through it? Go ahead, Austin.
I've had, when he said something about a core group of friends, the first YouTube channel I ever made was like back in 2009 or something like that. And I met someone on there who did basically the same thing I did, this little visual effects stuff, like never full videos, just like 5-second things. And for a while we both did the same thing, and then eventually once like Facebook came around, like I added him on Facebook. He lives across the United States from me, and every time I got into just like not really feeling like doing anything, he would be doing something, and so seeing what he did, kind of like, okay, that looked kind of cool, I'm going to start doing it too. So it's like we always did this back and forth kind of thing. It was just one person So it wasn't even a group of people, and so like even till this day, he's still friends on Facebook, and he doesn't do much of it, but he sees my stuff, and then he starts doing more stuff out of it. So
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, go ahead, Cedric. Plus, it looks like a lot of people in the chat, they said they found you and subbed to you.
Yeah, it's 25 subscribers now. That's like twice I had.
Nice job.
I just want to say thank you for the people that
Cool.
subscribe.
Awesome. Timothy, do you got any thoughts on this?
Not really. I don't really know what to say. Pretty much everything was said, so that's it.
Okay. Cool. So would it be fair to say, and I know this isn't accurate about anyone because I don't think it's true for me. Well, that's not true. It is true for me, but not to the extent I hear it said from other people. Is it fair to say then that the thing that would push us through the dip is feeling validated that our work matters to somebody? No? Some people are nodding their head yes. Raise your hand if you say yes. Some of you guys. Okay. Austin, Brian, is that a hand or is that just a nod? That's a yes. Okay. So, Jake, you're kind of going, which is kind of where I'm at too, to be honest. Hey, we got another lady. Yay.
I think that validation is nice, but if you're not proud of it yourself, you can't expect it. So, like, if you have an idea of what you want your channel to be, that's goal setting. You have to set goals and be able to realistically reach those goals.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say, oh, I want 1 million subscribers by the end of the year, because it's not going to happen. I know that. But if I can set goals that are actually achievable and reach those, that's enough for me. And it's an extra bonus that a community is behind me making comments and adding me on Facebook and whatever. But to me, it's a personal goal. It's not about validating myself through other people's validations, but about reaching personal milestones that I have worked really hard for, and then having a background of core friends or whatever that support me through that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing in the chat too. People are saying, yeah, it's kind of 50-50 for me. Sarah Moran Nutrition says, yes, but if you're proud of your work and then get crickets, it can make you start to question yourself too, which is very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Austin's Autism World, I kind of live my life on validation, I think. So, so Jack, is it just for goals for you? Is that what keeps you motivated, like setting goals and hitting them?
Yeah, mostly. Like, I don't really look at like the number of likes I get in a video or the number of views that each video gets, but more of a long-term, yearly base, or maybe even down to 6 months. To me, in my mind, goals work, and I can see a map of everything, how it's going. So it's really hard to validate through, words of encouragement in a comment, like, oh, wow, this video is great, but I don't know what that really means in the long run.
Yeah,
This
that's nice, but it's not helpful.
Yeah. Did this person stay on for the long haul? Like, I could get one person that watches one video, but that doesn't really help me in the long run. So I like seeing growth through time rather than validation immediately.
Yeah. I think what really motivates me, and this is the reason why I started Video Creators in the first place, honestly, is so part of my story is that I was a youth and family worker for a long time, for 12 years, and I was also kind of doing stuff on YouTube on the side back in 2006, 7, 8, 9, back in those days, and I started to see the influence that our family was having on YouTube, almost, I won't say outweigh, but it was a really big influence as far as the impact it was having on people's lives. And we started getting stories and emails from people of hey, my wife or my husband and I just got married 2 months ago. We're already struggling in our relationship. I watched your video of how you and your wife, you talked about how you're learning to love each other better. And I showed that video to my husband. We talked about it, and I want to let you know that we have hope again for our marriage. Thank you. I'm like, whoa, And you get this one girl came up to us in Texas. She's like, hey, you don't know me. Been watching your videos for a while. I've noticed that since I started watching your videos, that I've really raised my standard for the type of guy that I date and will one day marry. Just want to say thanks. I was like, really? I was like, that happened because of our video? You know, and tons of stories of people who like didn't commit suicide and people who like are now making full-time incomes from their audience, and like all this stuff of like people's lives have been impacted and changed. And I was like, that's why the message is like master YouTube. Spread your message. It's not like master YouTube get famous. It's not master YouTube make money. It's like that's really what motivates me, or like those stories. And like I don't get as many of them on video creators, to be honest, but I do get them on our family's vlogging channel, and that to me is like the motivation to keep going. And that's why I started video creators, because I was like, I want more people. Like I can only spread. I have like maybe like 1 or 2 messages to spread, maybe. But if I can help other people who do have other messages to spread do that better and more effectively, then together we can all impact and change the world a lot more than just each of us trying to do our own thing, you know? So that's why I started it, and that's what motivates me. But I realize not everyone shares that, you know, with me. And that's fine. But I think that's really what motivates me. Keep going. So, Mary, are you here? I see your icon, but are you here?
Hello?
Hi. You have a webcam that works? I see you have
I
it.
do, but apparently it's not working. I thought it would be working.
Well, it's a good ad for your webcam. That's fine. Do you have any thoughts on this? What are you thinking?
Well, I'm just starting out, so there's really not going into a dip. I never even got up yet.
Okay.
But what I think helps too is like setting up goals. But as one of the members said, I don't know your name. Setting up goals on views or likes or shares is something that you cannot control. So it's something that I don't think is a good goal for the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And so your goal should be like, okay, I'm going to make this many videos. Something you can control how many videos you're going to make, how much content you will create. So I think it's something good. I will not give up until I have at least 100 videos released.
Okay, good.
So it's something that will keep you going. Like, okay, I'm going to put this much time. So you put goals and something that you can control yourself, not just because there is no way you can control how many views you have. You can share as much as you want. You can ask friends and family and everything, but it's still very arbitrary. I mean, it's kind of like between luck and the right time and having, you know.
Right. Yeah. I'm reading the chat. NerdSync said something too, or he's saying something. But someone said I think he's quoting someone. But the idea that if you can easily reach your goals, you aren't being ambitious enough. That makes sense to me. But yeah, Mary, I think it's really important that like like you don't post 3 videos and be like, man, why am I not super popular yet? These are amazing videos. But here's the deal: like anyone who's actually pushed through and like created a bunch of videos, you know that. If you go, let's say you've been creating for a year or 2 years or whatever, like the matter. Like you go back and you look at the first videos you publish, you're gonna do like a major face palm and wonder why you ever published those in the first place. But when you publish them, you thought they were awesome, and the whole world should watch them, right? But now a year or 2 later, you're like, should I take those down, like off my channel? They hurting me, you know? And that's just the way it goes. Like, and then here's the other thing: like 2 years from now, the content you're making right now that you think is awesome, you might look back and be like, should I take those videos down? You know, for the same reason. So I think we always think that where we're at is awesome. It's like parenting. Like maybe it's not like parenting. I don't know. It just came to mind. Is that like, you know, there was a survey done of parents, and it was like 80-some% of parents think they're doing a really good job of parenting, but like only 20% of kids thought their parents are doing a good job of parenting, you know? So I don't know if that relates actually or not, but I think where it came in my mind is you often think you're doing way better than you think you are. You think you're more awesome, your content's better, and other people are like, I don't know about that. Like, keep trying, you'll get there, but you know, you're not going to get there at their video 3, you know?
But it's also good that if after a year, 2 years, or it doesn't matter really how much, then you see that you got better, because if it just means that you evolved, your content got better, your creation, yourself. If you stay in the same line, then, well,
Yep.
I think it's also actually something really good if you watch back and say like, oh, what was I thinking? That just means I got better.
Yeah. I like that one of the ideas was it J. Chalant, is that how you say it? JC Chalant said, I think having a 52-week schedule, even if it's only 52 videos, to have the first year worth of weekly videos conceptualized at least is a good goal with ambition. I think, yeah, if you start off with like a bigger vision and like a longer term plan, I think it's easier to kind of hit the dip but keep going and coast through that. I like that. That's a good idea. Any other ideas you guys have? We'll wrap this up. Practical ideas for helping people push through that? Go ahead, Juniper.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that with like the older videos. Like, I'll do that sometimes, and that will like help me if I feel like I'm struggling, because there's always something that you can really do to improve. Like, even if you go back like 3 or 4 months, like I realized a lot of improvements in videos, even if it was just only that long ago. Sometimes it helps to like go back and realize how far that you really have come, even though you think that you're in a dip. You really still do come a long way if you do put in the work and you feel like you're not getting anywhere. Sometimes you just have to self-reflect and see, I really have been working hard, and you can see like the quality of work that you put in.
Yep.
I think that's important.
Definitely. Sweet. Anybody else? Any final wrap-up thoughts about what encourages you? Do you think the dip's important? Anything else that we've talked about here that you want to throw out before we wrap up? Go ahead, Melissa.
I think the dip is important, or the plateau, because it really shows you what your motivation for what doing YouTube is. If you can make it through that, then you're doing it for the right reasons and not for the monetary or fame or whatever. You're doing it because you love it. So I think it's good, and it just makes you reevaluate too why you're doing it.
Yeah, totally, definitely. Anybody else?
Well, for me, can you guys hear me?
Yep, go ahead, Bryce.
Oh, is my webcam on?
Yep, I see you.
Okay, so for me, like Einstein, like I said this in the chat earlier, but he tried 9,999 times before he got anything right. So for me, it's like, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Like, people like act like YouTube's this fun thing, which it is, but I think people portray it as something that's so easy through like interactivity that you can get so famous off of, but really you have to like really build that audience and get to know those people on more of a personal level than just like through the comments or whatever. And like what we're doing right now, do something like this with your fans.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's the $1 million question that I wanted to ask you guys. So to go off your point exactly, Bryce, do this with your audience, is like, I was hoping you guys like give any feedback for me, like as you watch that. Like I was reading through the comments, there's like, at the time we went live, there's like 200 some comments, and they're all like really good. Any quick thoughts for me of like how I can serve creators better, either through the dip or on one side of the dip or the other, or like, Tim, the dip's gonna happen, just let it go and serve the ones on either side, or like I don't really know. I think for me, like at the end of the day, I have to decide like who I'm most passionate about serving, and it's creators. But if I'm gonna narrow it down, like which creator along that continuum is the ones already pushed through and they're going now, or is it the ones who are eventually gonna drop off and I'm just gonna be okay with that? I don't know. But any feedback for me? Go ahead, Jake. I'm supposed to say Jock, sorry, but
that's all right. So I think that just doing something like this, creating a platform, an engaging thing for creators like this, like just a hangout. I mean, I've been going through the chats and just people are talking and giving tips throughout the talk, even if they weren't related. But people have been finding people that are related in topic, becoming friends, even if they're new, old, whatever. I think having maybe not one after every video that you post, because I think that could become excessive, but like a weekly hangout that there might be like 2 topics that you talk about that creates a community base, not necessarily about a certain diff or a certain thing, but like just current events or whatnot.
I actually do them. They're just on Patreon, like through the Patreon account. So I hope that doesn't sound like well, let's do it, but you got to pay me first. It's not. It's like that's a perk I add for those people,
It's a segue.
Yeah, there you go. There's an unnecessary plug. I mean that, but yeah, I do, and I love it because the nice thing about the Patreon people is that it's pretty consistently the same people every week. So or every month when we do them. So it's kind of like kind of get to know each other after a while, which is cool. Cool. Any other feedback from me on how or if serve?
You need to get more hats.
More hats? Seriously? I gotta buy more hats? These things are expensive.
Just kidding, but it would be cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Different
that's
hats.
what I wear them for like 8 years. Like $30. Anything else? Doesn't have to be, but just want to put it out there.
When do you plan on doing a meetup again?
A meetup, like a local meetup here in Cincinnati?
Yeah, well, I'm from Mansfield. I don't know if you know where that's from, but yeah, I'd love to do a meetup sometime.
Yeah,
So.
we tend to do one once a quarter here in Cincinnati, just creators, and it's fun. We did one a few weeks ago. So we'll probably do another one like February-ish or something like that after the weather gets warm. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you for hanging out, and those of you in the chat, thank you for doing this. I do have a P.O. box, Moto Madness, and those of you guys, like, it's been fun just watching the chat. Like, a lot of you guys, like, you're encouraging each other, motivating each other. You're like trying to connect on Facebook now, so you can keep in touch and keep, like, that's awesome. Like, that's really cool. So hopefully we got Cedric through the dip here a little bit, and you guys are getting each other through that, so that's awesome. So thank you, guys. It's been fun. Thanks for hanging out, and I look forward to reading your comments on this video. Those of you who are watching the replay later, answer all these questions too. I'll be checking them out because it's something I want to learn and figure out as I push through all this myself. So thanks, guys.